Okay, it's 1 o'clock on the dot. I'm going to get everything started. I want to just first thank everybody for joining today. It's always a pleasure to be showing everybody some great ways to manage their tardy process with some more automation, streamline things, and really, help you simplify your day in that manner. Okay, so I want to introduce Brian. Brian and I here are, the identiMetrics PowerSchool team, and we are here to, work together during this demo. Um, Brian has a very important, lot of very important jobs. One of them is to make sure that I don't talk too long, and the other is to make sure that, everything runs smoothly. And the third is to handle all of the questions that you may have and encourage you to, send them in the chat. Brian, what did I miss there in terms of a direction set for the Q&A at the end?
I think you were pretty accurate. If anyone has any questions, please answer them or enter them at any point in time in either the question and answer or in the chat, whatever you're most comfortable with, and we'll get to them during the question and answer section.
Okay, and if I'm talking too long, Brian, don't forget, steer me in the right direction, please. Okay, so today we are going to be showing you, or I'm going to be showing you our front office tardy management solution. This front office solution is designed to help you best manage your students that are coming in late to the building, and automate that process for you with potentially helping streamline those manual tasks that come along with kids coming in late to the building. So if you can just, I'm sharing my screen, and what you see here is PowerSchool open, and actually I'm going to put us to the start page. Our plugin installs directly to PowerSchool, which means that becomes part of PowerSchool. So we are going to be writing directly to the attendance tables. In terms of recording, what that requires then is for your attendance office staff, your attendance team, to have PowerSchool open to record attendance. So come along with me and let me take you through the process. So with your plugin installed and enabled, when your attendance team is getting ready to record attendance in the morning, they're going to load PowerSchool, log into PowerSchool using their credentials, and they're going to take 2 clicks over to what we call the scan page. Let's go there now. Click number 1 on the left navigation bar. I'm choosing attendance, and then I'm going to choose the second link, which brings us to the scan page. So here we are. This is the page that is open that your attendance staff will use to record attendance. Our front office solution allows you to determine where you want your attendance recorded. You can choose to record your attendance to the student's meeting record, or you can configure your attendance to be written to the daily record. So you're going to decide which attendance recording preference that you prefer. I'm going to show you both today, but the first one I'm going to show you here is the recording to the student's meeting. So on the scan page, what you'll notice here is an upper section and a lower section divided by this marker here, this, like gray marker. The top half of the screen has some embedded information, and it also has some configurable fields. The attendance time and date, it's embedded. It's going to pull the local time from your time zone. The meeting attendance code, this is configurable. You can choose a default, or you can change it from the page itself. This attendance code list is pulling from the attendance bank that I have here on my test server, okay, on my sandbox. It will do the same on yours. The drop-down will list all of the selection of attendance codes that you currently have set up and configured. A hall pass option, you can determine whether or not you want the code chosen to print a hall pass for your students to take to their class or to, their next location. An attendance comment. In this box, you have the ability to type in a comment that would be associated with your student's late arrival. And you can, type that in there and it's going to append to their attendance comments. And then here, this green box that's lit and has a cursor flashing, this is waiting for ID input. This is where the plugin is waiting for the ID entry of your student. So that's our top half of the screen of our scan page. The bottom half of the scan page is going to list our student information. So every day when you load this page, it's going to be empty. And as you start to collect attendance information, it will fill up and give you a nice at-a-glance visual of the information, the attendance information that you're collecting. I want to mention here, I have a box. It's a scan window. I'm moving it around right here. As I mentioned, our plugin is waiting for ID entry. There are multiple ways that you can enter ID information into PowerSchool. One way, I'm a huge fan, is the finger scan system. I'm a huge fan for all the reasons. It's accurate, it's efficient, it creates privacy for your students, and your students don't forget their index fingers, right? Which is how we're going to scan when I show you today. They don't forget these. They come along with them every day. So it's a great way to enter ID information. And that's what this scan window is about. That being said, you are not required to use the biometric finger scan system. You can if you wish, but if you don't wish to, that's fine too. You can manually enter an ID number into this field. You can use a barcode scanner if you currently have ID cards, or you can just type it into a pin pad. Think in your cafeteria. If you have maybe a pin pad, give you that visual. If you have a pin pad that's attached to your POS system, you could actually use that style to get the ID entry into the plugin. But I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to get the information in, but I'm going to start by showing you me using the finger scanner. So I need everybody to pay close attention here to the screen, because what's going to happen once I scan my finger is all of those manual tasks that you're doing are going to be happening and automatically entered into PowerSchool. So pay close attention. And here we go here. I'm going to place my finger and let's get started. So we have a hall pass that's going to be generated. That's the first thing that we see. So let's come in nice and close, take a look at this hall pass that we've just generated and see the information that's recorded on the hall pass. Your hall pass is configurable. I have all of the options configured so that I can show you how this looks. We have a date and a timestamp. We have our student's name. We have the class that Adam should be going to when he scanned into the building. So we expect to see Adam's attendance being recorded to Science 7. We have an attendance code, which is tardy excused. It's the one that I used for his scan session and the one that I have configured in the plugin. And we have the presence status, which is excused, and that happens to be the presence status associated with that particular code. Yours may say something different. Again, we're pulling from your attendance bank. We have two more pieces of information here at the bottom of the hall pass. One is the total tardy count. This is Adam's 12th tardy to one of his meetings. We're going to keep track of those for you. And we have a statement here. Try to make this your last tardy. You have the ability in the plugin to associate a comment, an action, a behavior change, a message that you want to have associated with the tardy threshold that's been reached for that scan period, okay, for that scan session, for that scan moment, okay? So for number 12, my configurable option was try to make this your last tardy. Yours could say something different. Okay. I'm going to send that hall pass off and ta-da, everything's been done and recorded. Had I let that run all the way through, we're looking at probably about a 2-second turnaround from the time that student walks in, scans their finger, hall pass is printed, and off they go. All right, let's see all the other cool stuff that happened after I scanned my finger. We're going to go back and take a look at Adam's record. So for this particular configuration, I chose to have my attendance record entered into the student's meeting. Okay, so if I'm going to look here, and we are going to go into Adam's meeting record. Today is Thursday, okay? And he scanned in at 1:07, which is the comment here that's appended with the scan time. And the attendance code was written to the appropriate meeting when Adam entered that front office and came to the building late. So that's what's happening here with this particular plugin configuration. Let's go back to our scan page, and I want to show you something else here. So again, from our start page, I have 2 clicks to get to the page that's recording attendance. So here's my daily view. This link here is a cumulative view. So what I have on this side of things is a really great way for you to be able to take the data that you've collected and sort and filter on it in ways that are useful. Okay, again, we're writing to the attendance tables in PowerSchool, so you can always pull your PowerSchool reports. However, what this page does is it gives you the ability to grab the data that you need quickly and send it off to the people who are going to turn that into actionable, moments, actionable, items. So on this page, our historical page or our cumulative view, we have the PowerSchool basic filter. We also have a nice way to open this up and allow you to see additional options that match with the headers that allow you to search on your students, other information for your students. A real popular one is to look up the attendance code. You want to see everybody that has a particular code so you can have somebody take a look at these codes and help redirect these students. You have total tardies. Another popular way is you want to see everybody that has a total number of tardies. You're going to grab everybody that has 4 tardies, and you're going to take this data and send it off to the teacher that needs to talk to them, or the assistant principal that needs to talk to these students to help redirect them. Again, easy way for you to grab some data so that you can make it actionable. And that's what we have there on our printing page. I want to bring you behind the scenes for just a minute so I can show you how this plugin is configured. The plugin configuration is very straightforward and it is very simple. It can be done in about 20 to 30 minutes. So let's go back behind the scenes and take a look at where the plugin is configured. The first stop is going to be in my school setup. And with the plugin installed and enabled, there is a section here that brings you right to the configuration page. In our configuration page, you have a main settings section, a print slip settings section, and a preset tardy comment section. The main settings section is going to determine how your scan page is going to look and how that attendance is going to be recorded. For Cherry Hill Middle School, I've chosen the meeting attendance recording to be yes and my daily to be no. You're going to choose one or the other for your school. So I've chosen yes, and that's what we saw on the scan page. When that student scanned, the attendance code was directed to the student's meeting record. We have a default attendance code that you can set. Now, the default is the one that every time a student scans or their ID number is entered, it's going to return to the code that you've chosen as the default. You can choose any code that would be used most commonly. And then again, you would have the ability to change it on the fly if you need to. These additional options here are going to, again, help you determine how you want your scan page and your printing page to look. The print slip settings area is going to help you determine how you want your hall pass to look. And these options here have a toggle, and you're either going to select them to yes or to no. The preset tardy comment section is the area that allows you to assign a comment, action, consequence based on the tardy threshold that's been reached. And we saw that on the hall pass. For Adam, there was a particular comment that was set for his number of tardies that had been reached when he scanned in that day. So in here, you'll notice configurable, you have 400 characters, and you're going to assign the message that makes sense for your school. So that's the first area that is set up in terms of the plugin configuration. And then the second area that is set up is your attendance codes. When we look at our attendance codes and we choose the attendance codes in PowerSchool, each attendance code, once the plugin is installed, has another set of options that are appended to the attendance code page. There are 4 options for which to choose how your attendance code is going to behave when used with the plugin. The first one is whether or not you want this code used in the total tardy count. The second is whether or not you want this used in the clock in and out usage. Now, I haven't gotten to that yet, but we're going to get to that in just a minute. That particular setting is for those schools that are set to use the plugin to record to the daily record, and we'll go there in just a moment. Use the code to print a hall pass. You would decide whether or not you want that code to have a hall pass associated with it when the student scans with that code chosen, and then whether or not you want that code included on the printing page. And on the printing page, that again is our cumulative view that's going to give you historical information for your student using any particular code. And then the plugin's done. We're set up. So we have a main settings area, our school setup area. We have how we want our page to look and our hall pass to look and what comment we want. And then we move over to the attendance codes and you're ready to go. So let's go take a trip over to another school. In my district here, in my Apple Grove district, I have several schools. The first school I showed you was Cherry Hill Middle, which was set up to record to the meeting attendance record. And now let's go and take a look over here at Washington Elementary. This is my elementary school. In my elementary school, I'm not recording to the students' meeting. So in that case, let's take a look at how that's set up. In that case, for this particular school, I have my option set to yes to record to the student's daily record. Okay, so let's see how that one looks. Let me go back to the start page. And again, to kind of take you through the process, when your attendance staff comes in the morning and they're ready to receive and record the tardy students that are coming into the building, they open up PowerSchool, 2 clicks, one on the left navigation bar, attendance. The second is my daily link. And here we are. Page looks identical to the meeting. Couple of differences. We see that this says daily, and some of my options here on the columns are going to look a little bit different. I don't have the period associated. So I am going to show you. I showed you the first time around. I scanned my finger. This time around, I'm just going to manually enter an ID number. And let's take a look here. I'm going to type in my student here. They're going to use the tardy excused code. And let's see how this looks. Same idea. I entered the ID number. My hall pass gets printed. I have some information for Joshua. I have a tardy excused code. This is his first tardy. Hall pass gets printed, and I'm ready for my next student to scan. I'm going to scan and show you how I'm going to enter an ID number, and I'm going to select another code here. I'm going to go with tardy unexcused because this particular student has a tardy unexcused option. So I'm going to type in another number here. We can pretend that I'm using a barcode scanner, and it would work just the same. Now I have Nicholas. Let's take a look at Nicholas's hall pass, same idea. We have a date and a timestamp. Now he has a different code. I just chose a different one from the dropdown, and Nicholas has 2 tardies here. So we're ready. Now we're ready to go again, and we're ready for the next student. I want to go into both of these records here, and I want to show you, I was mentioning the clock in and clock out functionality. So you have the ability to assign whether or not you want an attendance code to write to the clock in and clock out fields on the student's daily record. So depending upon how your code is set up, it's going to record appropriately. So let's take a look at Joshua's record. I'm just going to go back here. And we're going to open up Joshua's record here in my tardies. And we're going to look at his daily record on Thursday. And here it is. Notice on Josh's record, this code is set up to record an attendance code only. And in the comments, we see that there is a timestamp that's associated with Josh's scan-in time. I want to show you Nicholas's record, if we can go back here. It's going to look a little bit different. For Nicholas's record, the second scan that I did, I have that code set up to record to the clock in and the clock out fields. And I want to show you how that looks. So some flexibility when using our plugin as well. So let's take a look at Nicholas's record here and look at how his looks a little different. With that code, I've said, I want the clock in and clock out values to be appended. So not only do I have the code, but I also have a timestamp. If I open this up, what we see here is that we know the time that Nicholas clocked into the building. It was at 1:19. And the clock out time is automatically appended with the end of day for that bell schedule. So there's some flexibility on the daily side in terms of whether or not you want that attendance code to write to the clock in and the clock out values. And that is, I'll go back again here. We can take a quick look at the page. And this is the daily entry. I've chosen Washington Elementary to record to the daily record. Again, choosing either to use the clock in and clock out values appended or not. If we look at the school setup, it's going to look very similar to the way Cherry Hill Middle was set up. And I'm just going to go back in here. Meeting, I had already shown you that I've set the recording to yes for daily. Print slip settings would need to be configured based on how you want the hall pass to look for the school, and then your tardy settings as well, your preset tardy comments associated with the threshold. So each of your buildings can be configured independently depending upon how the attendance recording is being utilized by that building. And that is how the plugin works. I would love to hear some questions. Brian, do we have some questions from the group?
We do.
Yay.
Yeah, well, first question here is, can you configure your hall pass so it's not a full page? The short answer is yes, absolutely. It is device printer specific. So you can change those settings depending on what printer you're sending to.
And I'll add to that, we also have, we don't provide the printer as part of the plugin package. However, we have gotten so many questions about what's the best printer to use that we reached out to all the districts that are using the plugin and said, hey, what kind of printer are you using? Because lots of people are asking. So we got some feedback and we have a link to the most popular, if you will, the one that everyone says works really well, the best, bang for your buck, and works, beautifully with the plugin, and it's easy to set up. So we can send that to you if you're interested in having that information.
All right, thanks. We got another question here. Can you reset the tardy count period?
Yes, you can. Let's go back in. I'm going to move over here to Cherry Hill because I have a little more. Let's go. We're going to go back into Cherry Hill Middle school setup. Again, we're going back behind the scenes, right, to the area where we go ahead and configure the plugin. Down here, the link to the configuration page. And here, the total tardy count period. By default, it is set to record and count for your entire year. However, if you want to change that, use the drop down to select the semester, the quarter, however it is that you have PowerSchool configured, to record for that and then reset for the second. So if we were at the start of the year and I wanted to make a distinction between my tardy semester 1 and semester 2, I would have my semester 1 chosen in the total tardy count period, and then we would flag that to semester 2, and we would only be recording for the individual semesters as opposed to the whole year. So the answer is yes, you can reset your tardy count.
Thank you. Next question is, once the plugin is configured with a default attendance code, is there an option to change it on the fly?
Yep, there certainly is. Let's go over here and back to the scan page. And I'm going to choose my meeting. And here it is right here on this upper section. There's a drop down. My default for Cherry Hill Middle is tardy excused. The drop down here shows you the attendance code selection for, that you can pull from and grab on the fly for anybody that would be using something different from your default. These are your codes from your bank.
Okay. And this is sounds like a little bit of a clarification. So the plugin is installed directly in the district. So it's directly in PowerSchool in the district. And then each
Correct.
school is set up independently.
Correct.
So we're gonna
That's
have
exactly
meeting on
right.
one side and meeting in one school daily in another.
Yeah, and it's very popular for schools within a district to have different recording methods. And many times elementary schools are going to be set to record to daily, and your secondary, your middle and your middle and your highs are going to be set to record meeting and maybe daily as well. So you would set your buildings independently based on the recording method that you would like to see with the plugin.
Okay, thanks. Next question is, what's the fastest way to get started, and can I add biometrics later?
Yes, and yes, the answer is yes. The fastest way to get started is to reach out to us. Let us know that you want to get started right away. You can get started without using biometrics if you would like to begin that way. Add the biometrics in at a later time. Any way that works best. This time of year it's we're starting to head into the summer months where we know everything kind of revs up as people are closing down one year and getting prepared for the next year. So the sooner you get to us, the better. We would get the plugin over to you. We would configure it and have that in place and ready to go for the start of the year. So call us, email us, however it's easy to reach us.
Send up smoke signals, anything that works for you.
Text message, yeah, but yeah, get to us soon because we are starting to head into that busy season, as we all know, and we'd love to be able to make sure you are ready to go for the start of the school year.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can you use biometrics anywhere else?
Oh, well, absolutely you can. identiMetrics, our biometric ID management system, is designed to be used, school and district wide to work with any and all of your existing applications that you currently have running in the school. Really great thing about identiMetrics, you're going to set up one database with your student templates, and then you can use this very convenient finger scanner in every area of your school that students need to be identified. Think cafeteria, let's just say, for example, you want to use the biometrics with the plugin, you want to use biometrics in your cafeteria. We create one central database, finger scanners in the cafeteria, finger scanners in the office. Students scan their finger, and in the lunchroom, the account's going to come up. The cashier will tender the sale just like they always do. And in the front office, scan their finger, attendance gets recorded. So yes, it's a wonderful way to expand the use of the biometric system.
We got a final question here. Does it matter if we use a student ID or student number?
No, it really doesn't. And let's go back in here. I'm going to go back into my setup options. Again, this is what we're going to help, get together for you here. With the student number or the student ID selection here, or option, configuration option, use the drop down to choose whichever identifier the PowerSchool expects. So
Perfect.
certainly can.
That was all the questions I have.
Was that it? Okay, well, if you think of any other questions, if anything comes up in your discussions as you're, talking about, your what's next steps, please reach out. We are here. We are easy to reach. We are responsive. We truly want to help you better manage your tardy process. Brian and I talk to people all over the country every day of the week, and the tardy attendance is a big issue, and managing tardy processes can be streamlined, and that's what we're here to help you do. So yeah, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and we hope you come on board. We did the thing. Okay, well, we hope to hear from everybody. Again, thank you for your time. I know how busy everybody is, and I can't wait to hear from you. Thanks, Brian.
Thank
Thanks,
you. Have a nice
everybody.
day.
Bye.